What's going on, everybody? I'm Kristan, aka Scar, and today we are commenting on and reacting to Passport Bros. So I'm going to react to a few clips and explain what's going on, and I really want your opinions. Trying to censor speech or words or whatnot is a slippery slope down. So let's get to the first clip.
What is a passport?
Okay, passport bros are men that are so fed up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible and Western women don't want to be wives that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
Now, men going overseas to these other countries trying to find traditional wives, traditional women. I don't know how everyone else feels about this. Personally, if you're going over to another country because you feel like you're gonna find you a more traditional wife,
more power to you, my brother.
Grown men going to go do what grown men do, that sounds fine. To any men out there trying to be predatorial or, go after women that are too young or things like that, I do not condone, I'm not with it. But for grown men trying to go after grown women in a different country for a better outcome as far as marriage and a family,
all power to you.
There's not too much to say about that. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with a grown adult where if he feels like in his country he's not necessarily getting what he wants and he has the passport, the funds, and the flexibility to do so, he should absolutely do that. But that's what he wants to do as a grown man. And that's how I feel. Now, let's get into some of these other videos.
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single. Why? I want to be married.
Obviously she doesn't have a ring. This lady, she says she wants to be married. She's not an ugly lady, but she's not married.
If men are traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources.
And if you listen to the reasons why she gave, why those men are going out of the country for all those things that she said, it's very telling to who she is as a person and how she thinks about things. It's harder for me to find a video from a mindset of a woman who understands what's going on and who speaks in a way where they're trying to understand. This is more so this lady telling you this is why they're doing it. There's no other reason and it's not good. They just want your resources. You just want to la da 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 da. It's like, I see why you're not married. No disrespect.
I see why you're not married.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
So how did you get here? What does your dad have to do in order to get you here? He had to be that way, right? Your mom had to be that way, right? Just about everyone who's here had to get here being, kind of pervy. And the fact that you're trying to use that word to say that they're not great dudes. And I get it, being overly that way is too much. But like, that's why they're not great dudes? That word has been manipulated. Man, somebody's pervy just by saying, dang girl, you look nice. That's pervy. I've heard someone say that's pervy.
Their whole voyage to find a woman overseas is to find someone to subjugate. Someone who doesn't talk back, cooks and cleans, as pretty much of service. It's about a slave.
A slave to subjugate? You can't make this up. You really can't make this up. Not to have a longer lasting marriage or to have someone who wants to hold up their end of the bargain, a woman who's not so full of herself yelling out, I'm independent, or that I don't need no man, or we don't need y'all, or I can do bad all by myself, and all these terms to basically say, we don't need y'all. But their reason for going is none of those reasons. It's only to subjugate and slavery.
That's what a lot of these dudes don't understand. These girls are in it for the bag. They don't like you. They don't want you.
Here's the most interesting thing about it to me. If you don't care, if you don't want these men, why does it matter? Why do you have such vitriol against these guys who are going? If you don't want them, not a single one of y'all want these guys.
What's the problem?
To me, if you were happy that these guys were leaving, it would not be this type of a video. It would be more like,
yay, these guys are gone. Thank goodness.
And I've seen videos like this. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about this in particular, which is most of the videos I see. It's just stuff like this. It's like, if you're so happy, why does it sound like you're not? Why is the energy that you're not? They're not bothering you. They're leaving the country. They're going away.
Let me get this straight. You have been telling men for years that you don't want them, you don't need them, they don't meet your standards, that they don't treat you right. You can pay for your own hair, you can pay for your own nails, you can afford your own home, you can afford your own car, and are good for nothing. You're strong, you're independent. Then you get mad when these men go to another country to actually find a woman that has the qualities that they are looking for in a wife. Make it make sense.
Yeah, please make it make sense, because I, for the life of me, cannot understand if you tell someone you don't need them, you're independent, you're strong, they're not meeting up to any of your standards, most of them are invisible to you anyway, like you're not looking their way. Like, and the guys go somewhere else. Now you gotta shame them for it? Like, it makes no sense to me.
I also want to talk about why this mindset that so many Western women have is actually extremely problematic. Because not only are you putting down the men who are going overseas with pure intentions, you're also putting down the women from these other countries solely off of the fact that they were not brought up in a Western culture. Because you're calling them uneducated, you're calling them poor, you're calling them weak, you're calling them vulnerable. You're creating a superiority complex where you are at the top and women from all these other countries are at the bottom. Now let me tell you something. If you were really superior, the men would not be leaving, and you would not be single.
That was one of the most respectful clapbacks I ever heard in my life. And she's absolutely right. Before I end this video, I want to say this video in no fashion, shape, or form is meant to shame, bash, denigrate, put down, or embarrass women, nor men. We all need to do better, and we need to have this conversation. So hopefully, if you have a comment, leave it respectfully in the comment section below. Thank you for the shares, the likes, and everything else. And much love. Till the next video.